So many people join, but then they go away. They come to Krishna consciousness, and after coming to Krishna consciousness, they get some material facilities, allurements of Maya, and they lose their spiritual life. So we should be determined not to lose our spiritual life. No matter what. That's why Prabhupada said, no matter whatever happens, don't leave ISKCON. Because that's the safety catch, safety net, the boat in the ocean of material nature. If you're in a boat, there's nothing to worry about. There may be storms, there may be typhoons, there may be cyclones, there may be tornadoes, but the boat, as long as we're in a boat, we are safe. And the boat will take us to our ultimate destination.
Hearing the offering of His Holiness Jayapataka Maharaj, who, as we all know, from the very beginning became acquainted very closely with His Holiness Bhakti Charu Maharaj. I had the great fortune to also be in Mayapur at that time, way back in 1976. And we were not so many devotees, but everyone, when Bhakti Charu Maharaj came as a new bhakta with his friend Sarva Bhavana, everyone could immediately understand that this was a special personality. Immediately. We didn't have so many Bengali devotees at that time. But Maharaj was, by his demeanor, by his interaction with devotees, was showing how he was very serious in fully surrendering to Srila Prabhupada and his mission. It took Maharaj actually at that time, who was newly joining, many months before he could actually directly meet physically Srila Prabhupada. Practically he had to wait close to 1 year, which happened at the Kumbh Mela in 1977. All of us have many fond memories of His Holiness Bhakti Charu Maharaj. I remember in that first year, people used to come, maybe it was Janmashtami, some of the big festivals, so many visitors naturally visit Navadvip and would come to the Sri Mayapur Chandradev Mandir. And Bhakti Charu Maharaj was very enthusiastic in distributing, I remember, the Gitar Gan. Gitar Gan was the Bengali version of the Bhagavad Gita, and Bhakti Charu Maharaj had taken it upon himself to actually get that published and very widely distributing. I remember also how from the very early beginning, after being initiated, that was in Gaur Purnima, 1977. Practically speaking, from the moment he met Srila Prabhupada, maybe a month or so before Gaur Purnima, Srila Prabhupada, on the first exchange he had with him, also recognized, Krishna is sending me someone very special. And on that very first exchange, Srila Prabhupada actually requested him to translate all of his books in Bengali, which he of course took to heart. And throughout his many years of service, he excelled in so many wonderful ways. In the mid-80s, I remember Maharaj had transferred from Mayapur to Calcutta. He was involved in translating Srila Prabhupada's books.
The last remembrance I'd like to share with you is that I used to go to Richmond, Virginia for prison preaching. And there's a nice Bhakti Viksha group there also. So Maharaj had 6 disciples there. The late Nanda Dalal Prabhu and his wife Savitri Mataji, Shyam Giridhari and Sarada Radhika Mataji, and I'm forgetting, Navina Radha Mataji and Mathuradish Prabhu. 6 disciples staying there. We can understand something about the Guru by examining disciples. They so lovingly accommodated my wife and myself when we come there, fed us, housed us, gave us their precious association. It's a wonderful experience. And I had the opportunity to take breakfast with Maharaj on some occasions. And when you associate with a pure devotee, all of your impurity comes to the surface. We may think, yes, I'm doing very well in spiritual life. But when you're in close association with a devotee who's actually advanced in spiritual life, all of your impurity becomes obvious to you. So whenever I would sit with Maharaj, all my own impurity would become obvious to me. And his disciple would come around with his uchishta, his remnants. And Maharaj would say, no, don't give to my godbrother. This is etiquette. But I said, no, you give to me. Because this principle of taking remnants of a sadhu transcends the principle of etiquette. So you please give me remnants of this great devotee. So I was blessed to get his association, his remnants, and I'll always remember and be inspired by his service to Srila Prabhupada.
Nowadays we need a living Guru. And in association of His Holiness Bhakti Charu Swami Guru Maharaj, personally I could witness all these things. How much love he had for Srila Prabhupada. How much he really took anxiety to spread mission of Srila Prabhupada. How much he was concerned about first class service to Krishna, and how much he was concerned about spreading this mission of Lord Chaitanya. So his love for Srila Prabhupada is very, very amazing. Every time when Maharaj would come to Calcutta, during Prasadam time, he would share so many intimate his remembrance and pastimes with Srila Prabhupada. He has written his book, also beautiful book, Ocean of Mercy. I remember in 2020, February, when Guru Maharaj came to Calcutta, he cooked lasagna and then he fed all devotees. And it was very wonderful. And then when we were taking prasadam, Guru Maharaj was sitting and asking, how is the prasad and all these things. And it was really wonderful lasagna. And then he was reflecting. He said, I'm just missing Srila Prabhupada so much. He said, I'm just hoping for that day when I can get opportunity that I can again cook for Prabhupada and offer to him. He said in 1977 I was very new and I was not very expert in cooking. And I did so many mistakes in cooking. And Prabhupada had to tolerate so much of my imperfection in cooking. But he said, I'm just waiting for that day when I can get that opportunity. I can again cook for Srila Prabhupada. So I just thinking, he's a great GBC chairman and great guru and world preacher. But his heart is hankering for that simple, humble service to his spiritual master. So it was very heart-touching. And then after that, we know, actually that was my last meeting with Guru Maharaj. Then we missed. So I'm sure that he's somewhere cooking for Prabhupada and serving Prabhupada.
No one will stay here forever. The spiritual masters appear in the lives of the disciples to inspire them in the spiritual life, attract them towards the spiritual sky, and then at some point they leave.